This is the story of Emily Parker, a Protestant influencer with 2,300,000 followers, known for her relentless campaign against Catholicism. What happened to her in September 2024 still divides opinions to this day. Did she lose control? Or was it divine intervention? Emily had built an empire attacking Catholics. Every video was a bonfire where she threw traditions, saints, and especially the Virgin Mary. Her house hid a studio filled with theological books and a giant Bible, the perfect setting for her digital battles. But on that fateful morning of September 8th, the birthday of the Virgin Mary, something changed. Emily deliberately dressed in a light blue veil, imitating Marian iconography. The setup was calculated to offend. She turned on the camera and began her most destructive performance. "Hello, my dear ones. As you can see, I've changed. Things have changed in the last 24 hours. So many people praying for me, but not to God. They're praying to the Queen of Heaven that I would convert to Catholicism." She laughed sarcastically, lifting the Bible like a trophy. "And you know what? I converted. Why do I need this outdated Bible? All I need is whatever Rome tells me to believe." And then she did the unthinkable. She threw the Bible on the floor with absolute disdain. The video exploded, 2 million views in 6 hours. The comments turned into a digital battlefield. But on the other side of the screen, something unexpected was happening. Daniel Stone, a respected 45-year-old Catholic theologian, watched the video in his quiet office. His wife Sarah was beside him, visibly disturbed by what they had just witnessed. Sarah begged him to respond accordingly, to defend his faith with the same aggressiveness. But Daniel saw something others could not see. Looking into Emily's eyes through the screen, he did not see malice. He saw pain, someone deeply wounded, speaking desperately. His decision was radical and incomprehensible: to pray for her, publicly. Daniel posted a simple tweet that would change everything. "I am praying for Emily Parker this week, asking Our Lady to intercede for her before Christ." Emily's response was immediate and explosive. She called him a narcissist and a serpent, demanding that he stop commenting on her posts. But Daniel did not stop. Each day, a new prayer tweet, no retaliation to the insults, no defense against the accusations, just simple and constant prayers. And then something frightening began to happen. Emily started attacking her own allies. Michael Hayes, a faithful Protestant for 20 years and a follower of Emily for 5, tried to intervene kindly. He explained that Catholics do not blindly follow the Pope, nor do they reject the 66 biblical books. He asked for nuance. He asked for respectful dialogue. Emily's response was brutal. "Then you are not a true Protestant." And she instantly blocked him. Michael was stunned. He had followed her for years and had never seen such behavior. One by one, Emily attacked any voice of moderation: historic Protestants, respected theologians, even personal friends. If someone asked for dialogue, they were immediately labeled as traitors. Rebecca Thompson, her best friend and content co-creator for 8 years, attempted a personal intervention. The call was devastating. Emily was losing followers quickly, but when Rebecca mentioned it, the response was explosive. "Who needs fake followers? I would rather have 1,000 warriors of truth than millions of cowards." When Rebecca mentioned that brands were worried, Emily shouted that they could go to hell. Rebecca hung up, completely alarmed. Emily was alone now, and this was only the beginning. Emily woke up to a nightmare. In 48 hours, she had lost 200,000 followers. 3 major brands had canceled million-dollar contracts. The justification was simple: they could not associate with divisive content. Emily exploded. Divisive? Was preaching the truth divisive now? When Jenny hesitated, mentioning that even Protestants respect the Virgin Mary as the mother of Jesus, Emily glared at her with an icy stare and shouted for her to get out of her house. Jenny left in tears. Emily was completely alone now, but instead of reflecting, she struck back even harder. She recorded a new video, even more aggressive. She declared herself a victim of cancellation for speaking the truth. She mocked Daniel Stone's prayers as a joke, telling him to pray to his stone idol. Daniel remained calm, posting only, "I will continue praying for Emily. Christ taught us to pray for those who persecute us." That night, Emily had a disturbing dream that would mark her forever. She was inside a burning church. She couldn't get out. A woman dressed in blue appeared and stretched out her hand, offering help. Emily refused with pride. "I don't need you." The woman smiled sadly and disappeared. Emily was left alone in the fire, screaming into the void. She woke up screaming, drenched in cold sweat. It was 3 a.m. She would not be able to sleep properly for the next few days. It was as if the very fire had consumed everything she had built. Followers, contracts, friendships, everything vanishing before her eyes like ashes in the wind. Emily hadn't been able to sleep for 3 nights. She was completely obsessed, constantly refreshing comments. Every criticism only fueled her more, but now the comments were different, heavier, more painful. A follower of 5 years wrote, "Emily, I've been your fan since the beginning. This is not of Christ." Emily coldly replied about cheap sentimentality. Someone asked if she was okay, noticing that she seemed different. Emily declared she was fine, that the others were weak. But she was not fine. She had lost 400,000 followers. 3 more brands had canceled contracts. Her own church had reached out, concerned. Pastor Williams suggested a break, questioning who exactly she was fighting against. Emily's answer was revealing. She was fighting against idolatry, against Rome, and when he suggested that she was fighting against brothers in Christ, Emily shouted that they were not brothers and hung up the phone. She was completely isolated now. At 4 a.m, Emily went to the window. The street was empty, but she swore she saw orange reflections in the other houses. As if the whole neighborhood was on fire, she whispered to herself, "What is happening to me?" She picked up the Bible she had thrown on the floor days ago. It was open to Luke chapter 23, verse 34. "Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do." A solitary tear slid down. For one fragile moment, the anger vanished, but then it returned with multiplied force. She screamed that they did know what they were doing, that they were conscious idolaters, and slammed the Bible shut violently. Emily was at rock bottom. 600,000 followers lost. All the brands had abandoned her. Rebecca, her former best friend, made one last desperate attempt. She left an emotional voice message, saying that she knew Emily had blocked her from everything, but she was genuinely worried. People were saying that Emily had disappeared. "Please, call back." Emily listened to the message 3 times, but she didn't respond. She was reading the most recent comments when she found one that broke her. "Emily, I followed you for 7 years. You taught me to love Jesus. You helped me overcome depression with your videos about hope. Now, I don't recognize you. What happened to the Emily who spoke about love and forgiveness?" For the first time in weeks, Emily hesitated. She remembered the person she used to be before the holy battle. At 25, newly converted, making videos about hope and grace. Her first viral video had been about forgiving enemies. She spoke about embracing those who think differently, about showing Christ through love. Emily went to the mirror and was startled. She was unrecognizable. Deep dark circles, a gaunt face, glazed and empty eyes. She looked possessed by something dark she couldn't name. That was when Daniel did something extraordinary. He organized a special prayer live, not only for Emily but also for everyone who had attacked her. Daniel spoke with a serenity that cut through the digital chaos. "Father, forgive Emily. She doesn't know what she's doing. We've all been like her at some point. Use this pain of hers for something good. Show her your love." That night, something unexplainable happened. The lights in the room began to flicker. One by one, the bulbs went out until only a faint orange glow remained, coming from where? Emily looked around, confused. There was no fire, but the room was bathed in a golden light that seemed to come from nowhere. The neighbors began calling the fire department, reporting intense orange lights coming from Emily's house. It looked as if it was on fire. The flames seemed to dance in the windows, casting terrifying shadows. The firefighters arrived quickly, expecting to find a house engulfed in flames. But there was no fire at all. No smoke, no heat. Only Emily, lying on the living room floor, sobbing uncontrollably with the Bible open on the ground. The fire chief, bewildered, asked if everything was all right. Emily looked around, genuinely confused, and said she had not seen any fire. But she felt it. Inside, everything was burning. Her soul, her reputation, her identity. Everything consumed by the invisible flames of pride and anger. To this day, no one knows for sure what happened in that house in September. The neighbors still talk about the flames that did not burn. Was it only a collective illusion, or was it something much greater? And you? Do you believe it was a coincidence, or that the Blessed Mary sent a sign? Write in the comments, "Mary, intercede for us." If this story touched your heart, share it with someone who needs a sign of hope. And if you have your own experience of faith to tell, leave it in the comments. Subscribe so you won't miss the next stories where faith, mystery, and the human heart meet in unforgettable moments.